Hello, and welcome to Bedtime Stories. My name is Frank Padour, and I will be reading to you a Grimm Brothers fairy tale entitled Humility and Poverty Lead to Heaven. Once upon a time, there was a king's son who went into the field sad and thoughtful. He looked up at the sky, which was so beautiful, blue and clear, and said with a sigh, "Oh, how happy must they be who are in heaven." At the same moment, he perceived a gray old man who was walking the same way, and asked him the question how he could go to heaven. "Through humility and poverty," answered the old man. "Put on my old shoes and wander about the world for 7 years to learn what misery is. Take no money with you, but when you are hungry, beg a piece of bread of charitable people, and thus you will approach gradually the gate of heaven." Thus advised, the prince drew off his fine clothing, and putting on instead the beggar's rags, he went forth into the world, and endured much misery. He took only the scantiest meals, spoke never a word, but prayed daily to God to take him, if he pleased, to heaven. When 7 years had passed, he returned to his father's house, but nobody recognized him. He told the servants to go and tell his parents that he was returned. But the servants would not believe him, and only laughed at his pretensions. "Then go and tell my brothers," said he, "that they may come to me, for I should like to see them once again." This request they also refused, but at length one went and told the king's children, but they troubled not their heads about it. Then he wrote a letter to his mother, and depicted all his misery, but said nothing about his being her son. The queen, pitying his misfortune, caused a place to be made for him below the staircase, and there were 2 servants daily had to bring him food. But one of them was wicked at heart, and asked, "What shall the beggar do with good food?" And so he kept it for himself, or gave it to the dogs, while he took the poor, weak, half-starved prince nothing but water. The other servant, however, was honest, and took him daily what he received for him. It was only a little, but still enough to sustain life for a long while, and with it was quite content, though he grew weaker and weaker. But when his illness increased, he desired to receive the last rites of the church, and while the service was performing, all at once every bell in the city and the country round tolled. As soon as the service was over, the priest went to the poor beggar, and found him lying dead, holding in one hand a rose, and in the other a lily, and near him lay a paper, whereon was written his history. And after he was buried, there grew on one side of his grave a rose, and on the other side a lily. That was a Grimm Brothers fairy tale entitled Humility and Poverty Lead to Heaven. Thank you for listening. Good night, and sweet dreams.